Why find a new tribe?
For me, it's a mentality that it's not about your community. It's not about the people that look like you. It's the people that will show up for you. They will challenge you, support you. They will tell you when you're talking nonsense. They can be your biggest cheerleaders, but they're also your reality checkers.
How do you go about making friends, and how did you pick your tribe?
I don't have a lot of friends. I have quality friends. I have less friends, but good relationships. So your tribe are those people that when you're with them, you feel like you're home.
And I think another thing as well with having a good tribe is the fact that if you end up making a mistake or doing something wrong, they don't judge you or really put you down. A lot of people that you might call friends can actually put you down the moment you make some. When it's all good, it's fine, right? When nothing has gone wrong, they're your best friends. As soon as something goes bad, that's it.
The other issue with that is when you then start to move differently, they want to hold you back and reference who you used to be.
Oh, that happens.
People that are so stuck in your version 0.9 and you're now at version 3.0, but they keep bringing you back to 0.9. You're like, that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of times we just lose so much of ourselves because we're trying to prove to other people that we're such good people. A, why are you trying to prove it? If you're a good person, if they stick around long enough, they should find out. And B, who are you proving it to? So welcome back to Gift in the Future, where we make decisions today to empower our tomorrow.
Yep.
Here with you today, your hosts, Mary and
Crystal.
I love the way you said Crystal.
I mean, Crystal. I love my name, you know. I actually love my name.
Evidently.
Wow.
Mummy did something right.
She did.
She did.
Yeah.
Make sure you give her props when you get home.
Yeah, I will. We'll see.
Wow, bad shite. Anyway, so welcome to today's show. What have we got for them today, Crystal?
So today we're actually going to be discussing finding your tribe.
Ooh, saucy.
I mean, tribe is a lot in itself.
It's a lot.
We'll discuss that later. But I think before we get to that, though, Mary, just feeling a little bit childish right now.
Oh God.
Just wanted to ask. No, just a little bit childish. So just tell me, Mary, would you rather?
Oh God.
Would you rather be very rich and have no friends at all, or be very poor and have a lot of friends?
Why do we have to be so extreme?
I mean, pick one. That's the whole point. Pick.
Rich
and you have to
with
tell
no
me
friends.
why. Wow. You have to tell me why as well, though.
Well, I would rather be poor with great friends.
Why? Though?
Not just friends, great friends.
Oh, okay.
Because when you have friends, you've got a network, people that can always give you opportunities, afford you opportunities, people that can always suggest you to someone, right?
I mean, clearly they're not doing their jobs because you're poor.
Well, maybe you just became poor.
Oh, wow.
What kind of friends do you have, though?
Oh, wow. I need to question.
So let me do it. I'm going to retort. Would you rather, now this is where people are going to get to know you, Crystal. Would you rather have cornflakes for breakfast
Why?
or semolina?
Mary, I know why you're asking that question, and I'm not going to answer that.
You have to. I answered your question. It's respect for your co-host.
I'd rather have cornflakes for breakfast. No, that's a joke.
The lies.
My breakfast is very heavy, guys, and let's not talk about that.
The
Mary's trying to drop me in it.
The small waist deceives us, but
My breakfast is quite heavy, so we'll leave that for another time.
I mean, I just like the way you said heavy, so yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
more than enough. Yeah,
that's more
Thank
than
you.
enough. I think people understand what heavy means.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason why is I just think having a heavy breakfast means I get to eat less during the day. Which again, Mary's looking at me in a strange way because
Apparently.
I actually don't eat less during the day.
Every time I see you, you're stuffing your face, but okay, we'll move on.
I just need food, okay? But
We'll
yes,
move on,
we're
we'll move
discussing finding your tribe.
Yes,
And clearly
yes.
Mary isn't being my tribe right now because she's not on my side.
But you started it. You started it.
But I didn't ask you to finish it. I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, Mary, why finding your tribe? I know you really wanted to discuss this, so why we got that?
So we kind of touched on it in an earlier episode, but I think for many people, tribe, for me, it's a mentality that it's not about your community. It's not about the people that look like you. It's the people that will show up for you. They will challenge you. They will support you. They will tell you when you're talking nonsense. They can be your biggest cheerleaders, but they're also your reality checkers. So I think when those people are missing from our trajectories, we can have very different outcomes because we all feel ourselves, right? Everybody has a bit of an ego. But you need someone to be like, babe, not everything revolves around you. So just swallow some humility tablets right now. And, be like, oh, that was a bit harsh. But you know in yourself that you needed to hear that. And I think sometimes I encounter people and it's like, oh, you're not used to having feedback, are you? You're not used to people telling you what is. Yeah. It is what it is.
There's
But you're not used to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real big miss.
Mm-hmm.
There's an ism that is missing.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Why
I
are
don't even
you
know where
like
that
this
came
again? I'm gonna keep asking you why you like
I
this.
don't even know where that came from.
Wow.
The ism that is missing.
I think at this point everyone knows where Mary's from at this point, so it's fine. But Mary, what I'm gonna ask is then how this might be a bit personal, but how do you go about making friends, and how did you pick your tribe? How did you know that this person definitely is someone I want to be close to and someone I don't want to be close to?
That's a nice question. I think sometimes we pick people, but sometimes you pick us.
Ooh.
So I don't have a lot of friends. I have quality friends. I have less friends, but good relationships. So my oldest friend, Sarah, shout out. I've known her since I was 11, 12.
Wow.
I have another 2 friends. One I met probably about 15. And another one I met in 2007. So those I would call my friends. I have lots of acquaintances, people that I can, we vibe, there's conversations, there's meetups, brunch and stuff like that. But in terms of friendship, and when I say friendship, for me, it's a 2-way street. These are the people, if you knocked on my door today and said, Mary, I have nowhere to stay, my couch is there. If I knocked on your door and said, I need 2,000 like now, I know that if they have it, they will give me. If they said, Mary, I've got this project I'm trying to launch, I'm £10,000 short. If I don't have 10,000, like, babe, I've got 5,000. Let me work around my network, see how much more I can help you drum up. And those are the people that I know would have my backs. One of my friends that I've described, she recently did like a charity thing for, I can't remember the name of the charity, but it was very much for, people displaced, trying to get them, resettled in the UK. And she dropped it to me, and I think she dropped it on a Wednesday, and I was in London in the office on Wednesday. But I keep it on read because I'm like, I need to get back to that person. On Thursday, when I'm working from home, as I was coming back from the school run, I got home probably about 5 minutes to 9. So I'm like, oh, I think I need to reply to Christiana. Went into it, and I'm like, oh, she's put the link, click on the link, and just gave a good donation. Forgot about it, got on with work. In the evening, my girl's blasting up my phone. She's like, oh my God, Mary, I'm like, but it's your thing. She's but it's not the money's not coming to me. I'm like, it's your thing. I'm supporting it because you're telling me about it. If it's your project, I don't care if the money lands in your pocket or not. If it's you that's telling me about it, 110. So I think we throw the word friend around very loosely. Yeah. I think for me, friendship is people that 110% have you. They'll hold you down when they go and get stuff, even when you're at your most annoying.
That's key.
Most annoying. They're like, okay, she's not normally like this, so I'm gonna extend a bit of grace to her. I'm gonna wear off soon, but I'm gonna extend. And when it wears off, they'll just tell you, hey, snap out of it.
Yeah.
They're not gonna stop being friends with you. You know how you can have those friendships where you may not even talk often. Christina and I probably talk, I would say in a month, maybe once. Sometimes we've gone 2-3 months without talking. But guess what? When we catch up, it's like nothing's happened. There's no distance. There's no awkwardness. When you can sit in a room with someone and you don't have to say much, but you both understand. There's no, oh, she's not saying anything. Does she not like me? Is she thinking, no, there's none of that awkwardness. So I think when you find your tribe, it's people that, I'm really funny about how much I share. I'm a very private person. But with the right people, you should feel free to express and say, this is what I'm hoping to do. What is it about me that you think I need? What are my blind spots? What do I need to be mindful of as I embark on this thing that I want to achieve? And those would be the people that be like, well, whoa. First of all, can we just give you the props for even thinking about that? I'm like, that's not what we're talking about. They're like, no, you don't get to do that. We're going to first... Have you got wine? I'm like, come on, stupid question. We always have wine.
Oh my God.
We always have. But you see, the things that you're not even thinking to like big up, there'll be the people saying, you just said it like, how's the weather today?
Nothing, yeah.
Let's just pause and rewind. And those would be the people that you'd be like, oh, I got a promotion, but and like, say what now? You got a promotion. There's no bots. Like, go back to that bit.
Yeah.
Well done. Those are people that are genuinely happy they're happy to have your happiness. I've had friendships, and I call them friendships because at the point I thought they were friendships, where it got to points where you had to start hiding your success. And you felt guilty almost that things were moving toxic, for you and not seemingly moving for them. But you're thinking, almost the weight of guilt should not be something that you hold because you're making it. You know, the silent efforts that you're putting in when no one knew are now starting to pay off, and people can now see, and it's like, oh, why she got that? Why is this happening for this person? But is your friends be like, girl, I know how hard you've worked, and I know all those times that we were meeting up for drinks and you couldn't come. I know that you were doing all of that quietly in the background. So yes, let's just celebrate it now. That for me is it. I don't think we should complicate it. People be like, oh, you need to have people that you go on holiday with. You need to have people that like, calm down. Maybe I don't want to go on holiday with people. You don't have to, we always have this imaginary checklist of a friend must come to the park with me and we're just going to swing on swings. Girl, you are over 20. You don't need to swing on any swings, right?
Yeah.
If a friend does not come out shopping with you, maybe they don't enjoy shopping, but do you have things that you both enjoy where you can enjoy each other's company? If you have a friendship where one of you is earning a lot more and the other is not earning a lot less, the friend that is not earning less should be like, girl, you're taking me out. That's how it feels.
Yeah, just also, yeah.
I would have friends be like, what's your plans for Saturday? I'm like, I don't have any. I'm like, we have plans. I'm like, oh, okay. I see we have plans. Like, oh yeah, and bring your card. Bring the one with the highest credit limit. I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
But I don't feel any which way.
Yeah.
They don't feel any which way. And that's the way it should feel. It should just feel so natural. So your tribe are those people that when you're with them, you feel like you're home.
Yeah. And I think another thing as well with having a good tribe is the fact that if you end up making a mistake or doing something wrong, they don't judge you or really put you down.
That is key.
Because a lot of people that you might call friends can actually put you down the moment you make some. When it's all good, it's fine, right? When nothing has gone wrong, they're your best friends. As soon as something goes bad, that's it.
That's key. That's touch on two things for me.
Go on.
You might have to repeat it because it spoke to myself. But two things. First of all, people that give you permission to evolve. A lot of people, especially with older friendships, I've seen it. And that's why these three, I'm like, oh, girls, whether you want it or not, we ride and we die together.
Wow. They have no choice.
They have no choice. But on a serious note, I've had long-term friendships where the people hadn't given themselves permission to evolve. And because of that, my evolution was contradictory to them. And it was almost an offense to them. So the other issue with that is when you then start to move differently, they want to hold you back and reference who you used to be.
Oh, that happens.
People that are so stuck in your version 0.9 and you're now at version 3.0, but they keep bringing you back to 0.9. You're like, that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, oh, but you used to smoke weed. When? Wait a minute. When did we, not you, we smoked weed? And now you're saying you used to smoke weed. First of all, we smoked weed, if that's the case. And I've stopped smoking weed, say, for 7 years, 10 years. Why are you still hung up about the fact that not just me or we used to smoke weed, but now it's like, oh, Mary, you used to smoke weed. First of all, I don't smoke weed, but you get what I'm saying? I don't smoke anything because wine money should never be cigarette money.
I mean, you're spending a lot on wine anyway.
I just dropped that. That is a nugget. The only poison for me is wine. There's no, don't put any nonsense in your body, right? But my point is, people that are so stuck on who you used to be, they want to remind you. Oh, one thing I heard that made me laugh, I think it was my husband that said this. It was saying how some people, because they knew you growing up, let's say you grew up in a poor household, when they now encounter you, they can't be comfortable in your presence. And you have to almost say to them, guy,
the same person.
I wasn't poor. My parents were poor.
Yeah.
I wasn't poor. So the fact that you are so transfixed on who I used to be through no fault of my own, that you can't now feel comfortable with me, that says a lot about you and very little about me, because A, you don't know me, and B, clearly you haven't evolved. So that's the first thing. Secondly, when you have people that when you're around them or when you're not around them, you can just update them. You can just be like, oh, so this is what's happened since last time me and you were together. And they're like, oh, how have I missed all of this? Girl, we need to meet up. Girl, we need to do this. What are you doing now? What can I support you with? That's just organic and beautiful. So, yeah.
Okay, well, again, I'm being a bit nosy, but have you ever had like a friend who, I guess, made you feel really bad about yourself or your situation that you were in, and you thought this person was your friend, right, and supporting you, but then now you're thinking back on it, now you're like, actually no, they were not being a friend? Because sometimes, right, we can be in situations where right now, let's say for example, me and you are thinking we're friends, right? Because you're nice to me, you do all of these things for me. And in a few years' time, I actually think about it and I realized your intentions behind that. It was not actually you being nice to me, you just wanted to look good. You just wanted to come across as amazing.
I think what you're trying to not say is when you realize that people were in it for their own personal
Yeah.
gain. Okay. Yeah, I think that's almost inevitable in any relationship, not just friendships. Sometimes people have selfish intentions, and sometimes. So let's drop another snippet. So wisdom nuggets are just dropping today.
I know, right? Today is
literally. So there's this thing about people are either in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And sometimes we try to hold on to the first two categories. So people that are here for a reason. That reason gets fulfilled, you need to let them go. Or for a season. Let's say you are going through depression, right? And you meet someone who understands it. Maybe they've had family members who've suffered depression and all of that stuff, right? And that person helps you get through that phase of your life. It's a phase, right? But then once you get out of it and you start now, let's say you start going out, meeting other friends, they're like, oh, you don't appreciate me. I'm like, be coming down. Yes, I'm grateful for you. You helped me get through a really bad period in my life. But I don't owe you my existence.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it's like, oh, I helped you when nobody else was there for you. And I'm so grateful. I am literally so grateful. From my soul, I'm so grateful for you. But if you think that I'm now going to be indebted to you for the rest of my life because of a season or reason that you showed up for me, it's not going to work. In the same way, if I do something for you, yes, show gratitude, but keep it moving. I don't like when people be like, oh, thank you for yesterday. Thank you for last week. Thank you for 2 weeks ago. I'm like, what did I do? Because I've moved on. It's like, I don't understand. Because sometimes, because we're trying to show that we're well brought up and, you know, we're grateful people, we appreciate, what you're doing without realizing is you're creating a thing, an imbalance of power where that person now feels
like
that you owe them something back.
Yeah.
Once you said, let's say I bought you lunch, you'd be like, oh, thanks for this, Mary. Move on. Don't, when you're on your way home, oh, thanks again, Mary. Thanks for lunch. You've already said thank you. And I think sometimes people then start to believe that you owe them or they own a part of you or part of your success story.
Don't you think that that's because of the way we've been brought up, though?
And I think
especially Africans as well.
Some communities we're taught that to be seen as a well-rounded person, you need to be very grateful. You need to show gratitude, and that's good. I'm not suggesting. Look, let's say I give you £10, you don't say thanks. You're not getting £10 from me. You're not even getting £1 from me again. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
But if I gave you £10 and you said thanks at the point, you don't need to follow me up with a text to say, oh, Mary, thanks again for that £10. But if I gave you £10,000, it might be appropriate for you to send me flowers to say thank you. Do you understand? It needs to be consistent with the thing, right? If I give you £1 and you're hounding me, I'm like, I can't give this person £10. She'll become a stalker.
Yeah.
So you need to show gratitude, but don't overdo it because you're trying to prove. A lot of times we just lose so much of ourselves because we're trying to prove to other people that we're such good people. A, why are you trying to prove it? If you're a good person, if they stick around long enough, they should find out. And B, who are you proving it to?
Wow, sorry, I'm really like listening. I'm thinking, I'm taking some point to myself. The most times I've said thank you to a lot of people.
Yeah, thank you. You know, it's thank you. I tell you, one of my biggest, I wouldn't say regrets because I don't believe in regrets. I think based on what you know at the point that you do something, you act based on the sum total of everything you know. The power of hindsight, the gift that keeps giving, as they say, is once you move on from that, you kind of see clearer. You see things for what they were.
Yeah.
I once said to someone, and I remember saying this to my career coach, who was like, Mary, you did not say that. I was like, oh, I'm so ashamed, but I said, someone at work gave me an opportunity, and I said to the person, thank you for seeing me. When my career coach,
seeing me.
Yeah. When my career coach heard that, I was like, Mary, you did not say that. I said, I did. It's like, but they're asking you to go into a role that they believe that you're fit for based on what you have evidenced.
Yeah.
And they're going to pay you for it. You're going to have to work for it. So why would you say, thank you for seeing me? But actually, when I think back now.
But a lot of people don't.
Yeah, but when I think back now, that set me off on a terrible, terrible trajectory.
Right.
Because that person felt they'd done me a favor, the things that they should have then done, they didn't do.
Right.
Because I've made them feel like, oh, Mary feels seen. And they didn't then do the things that they were supposed to. So I actually had to, my take from that interaction and that period of my time was actually a lot of those issues were down to me. The way I framed the reality meant that the person no longer felt responsible for, their integrity and acting with integrity towards me.
So would you say that in order to find your tribe, you need to know the kind of person that
Oh,
you are?
100%.
So you can't just be friends with technically just anyone,
100%.
right?
It's all about your values. And I'm not suggesting that you be like, this person smokes. I don't smoke. Nobody in my family smokes. I've never been around smokers, so we can't be friends. Because is smoking part of your values, or is it more of a health mindset thing?
Yeah,
You see what I mean?
yeah.
Your values are the complete non-negotiables. What I'm saying is, would you not work for a manager because they smoked? That's my point.
Not.
So it's obviously not.
Yeah.
If you felt that strongly about it, you'd be like, no,
Yeah.
I can never do. No, it's not. Let's not talk about this. We're not having this conversation, right?
Quitting.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it's a value that you feel so strongly about, don't negotiate it. It's probably going to inform your boundaries and the way your outlook on life and the way you conduct yourself. Those are non-negotiable.
So what are some
you
of
don't
these
get to change
values
people.
then?
So for example, for me, one key value is integrity. Whether people know it or not, I'm going to do right by you. And especially if there is a predefined relationship between us, whether we're siblings or something is predefined, right? I'm going to do right by you even when you're not doing right by me. I'm not going to do it to the extent that it affects my mental and emotional well-being, but I'm going to extend grace to you to a level that I won't necessarily extend to somebody else who doesn't have the benefit of that. But I may do that whilst maintaining a distance between us. You see that? I maintain a distance to preserve my emotional well-being and mental health, but I'm not going to deal with you in the same coin that you would deal with me if cards were changed. Do you understand the difference?
Yeah, I do.
So what I'm saying is, okay, let's make it real. We've talked a lot in the last few episodes about parents. A lot of people, you almost have to give yourself permission to forgive your parents and move on.
Yeah.
Because you can get so stuck in, my parents didn't do this. My parents didn't give me this experience. And that's why my life is so crap. Okay. Your parents probably gave you the best based on what they knew and what they had. So let's say now your parents didn't. I don't know, maybe there's even someone was dealing with addiction, or they didn't know what good parenting was. Let's just keep it very simple. Your mother or dad or both gave you a really rubbish upbringing because they had a really rubbish upbringing and they thought, well, this is what parenting is, and there's no manual, so give baby a lollipop and baby will be fine, right? And you've grown up, let's say you're obese, so you're like, I'm obese because my parents never showed me how to cook. They never showed me what a balanced diet looks like, how exercise comes into it. Okay, but the reality now is you're obese. Your parents have done their bit. That chapter is now closed. You're no longer living with parents. So what? Now that you're obese, what are you going to do about it? You're the one who's carrying the extra weight. And you obviously have an issue with it because you're blaming it on somebody else. You could be obese and really happy. We wouldn't be having this conversation, right? But since the fact that you're obese is causing you so much distress that you now have to play back in the past and, how they really messed me up, what are you going to do about it? And you have to forgive them, because what you're going to do every day, I'm going to throw darts at the picture of mum and dad because I hate those people. They really mess me up. How does that change you being obese?
And that's like drinking poison and killing. You expecting to kill them, but it's actually
exactly
killing yourself with it.
So where I'm going with that is, when you then forgive, let's say you've accepted, okay, they didn't do well. They were, let's just call it, they were crap parents, yeah? They were really crap parents, but actually now, let's say you grew up poor, or they weren't crap parents if they were poor, but let's just say you grew up poor, or your parents didn't really challenge you to be great or whatever. Now that you are more comfortable, I'm not suggesting that you be giving them money if it means that you now have to choose between walking to work and taking the tube to work. But maybe it's little things like making sure that the pension's in order, because you've learned that skill. It's a skill that they didn't have.
Yeah.
Or money management skills. They may not have had that. And if they had that, you may have had a different outcome.
Yeah.
Pass that on.
I think we have access to a lot of things now.
You have access to a lot of things that
Yeah.
our parents didn't have. We have the internet now. It's faster. Do you remember when it used to when you used to connect and get like, oh my God.
Mary, I don't know what you're talking about.
Ouch. I'm not that much older than you. Anyway, moving on swiftly. The fact is, if you have something you can give, it doesn't always have to be monetary. Sometimes it's your time. Sometimes it's monetary. Sometimes it's experience. Sometimes it's even as simple as introduce A to B.
I'm sorry, but do you feel like then some friendship, like there's expectations?
Yes.
With certain friendships, so I expect you to do this, and I do this for you and you do this for me. So if I'm doing this for you and you don't give me that, now we're no longer friends.
Oh God.
Is it like this expectations? So the whole time you're friends with this person? is what you
As
were
long as
giving
you
them.
keep doing,
Yeah, and they were happy with it. Like, do you think that
I
tends to
think
happen?
there is a lot of that. And one thing I realize about myself, because it's all about self-awareness, I'm not comfortable when people do things for me. And I know that you've commented before, like, Mary, just stop it. I want to do it. I'm like, what do I do?
Oh, you're baiting me out. Okay.
But a lot of just generally, my experiences are people, if you do something for me, I then feel, oh, let me quickly pay back.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to feel like I owe you. But again, that's not healthy. But I've come to realize that the reason I do that is because often in the past, the relationships where people were doing things for me, they did expect me to do something in return. So actually, if I can control it, i.e. rather than you saying, oh, remember that time when I gave you £10 when you were stuck and it was nighttime and it was only the 149 bus?
Wow.
And you it's very specific. I think it was the 13th of February.
It was 21:09 p.m.
So the thing is, now I need £1,000.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to that. So often what I would do is, see, you gave me the £10. If I asked you to loan me the £10, immediately I get it. I'll thank you, send it back with a thank you. I've credited your account with the 10. Thank you so much for helping me out of a sticky situation. And then the next time I see you, I might be like, oh, lunch is on me. Because actually, when you come back with me and say, oh, remember that one time, 21:09 p.m.
Really
on the 13th of February,
yeah.
if you had died, you would not have seen Valentine's Day. But I saved you your head now. We're not going to have that because I'll be like, oh, I do really appreciate that. You recall that I repaid you the money and I also took you to lunch. But if there's another way I can help you and it's within my capacity, I can help you. Because what I've done there is said to you, without being rude, get off your high horse.
Yeah.
You helped me.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I've shown the gratitude. I've repaid it. We move on.
Okay, so what about in an instance where, okay, this is very personal to me, but I helped someone, right? I actually helped them out with a lot of things. And that was because I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay. But then I ended up being in a situation where I guess I'd put expectation in, but I just thought they would also reach out and help me, like how I helped them. So it wasn't really more of I do this and you do that. But it's just now that I was in that situation.
Okay. No,
I just was. So what is that then? Is that the same thing about me setting expectations?
It's an expectation, but what you're describing is you haven't projected that onto them in the same way as the early examples that we've had. So let's make it real. Let's say you had an issue with a boyfriend. Look, your friend had an issue with a boyfriend. She was broken. She was basically a puddle of tears on your couch. And, your mum was like, get this girl out of my house. You're like, Mommy, no, we have to be there for this girl. You didn't sleep till 3 because, oh, I love him or I hate him. Oh my God, I love him, I hate him, right? And then she comes to hear that you break up with your boyfriend. Is that similar to what? So you're expecting that she would reach out?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
How I would deal with that is, again, it's the expectations on you. And she may not even realize that that's an expectation. But actually, she should, regardless of whether you helped her with her boyfriend situation, if a friend hears that you're going through a difficult period, they should reach out anyway, right? But until she reaches out or until you reach out to her, which is also acceptable, you don't know, her mum could have just died. Her cat could have just died. Yeah. She could have just lost her job. So often we make things so much bigger in our minds. Oh, she's a terrible person. Yeah. They warned me about people from the East Coast. They're all rubbish people. Like, seriously, how did we get from one person offending you to all the people from the East Coast, right?
So it's to do with communication then.
It's a communication piece. And actually, if you then reach out and none of the above happened, no cat died, no mum died, no job was lost, I would then say, babe, did you hear that I fell out, broke up with my boyfriend? She's like, oh, I did. Oh, I would have really appreciated you checking in on me. That's where I would position it. Not, oh, but you remember when you broke up with Andrew? Yeah. I was there when Andrew.
Why Andrew? Why?
Whoever he is, right?
Why
don't make it like that, but just be like, I would have appreciated it, because that's you communicating how you want to be loved and how you want to experience a relationship, right?
That means you have to have the skill of communicating that, because at the end of the day, even if you're in the right, you can really come across as wrong from how you say it.
Listen, which is what you and I often debate, right?
Yeah.
As long as your intention and the way you frame something were both with respect, it's 2 layers, right? If I'm intending to offend you, but I say respect, there's going to be an undertone because my intention is to offend you. But because I'm aware that all these people are around, I'm going to be like, well, let me say it in a nice way. But really, I want her to know that I'm not feeling her right now.
Yeah.
Right? But if both the intention and the way I deliver it are both respectful, it's on you how you experience that and how you choose to accept it. I don't really have much control over that. And that's informed of so many things. You could just be having a bad day. Yeah. B, it could be because another person is that triggers you to, it takes you back to a place at a time when somebody else in similar or the same situation, but a different outcome. But I have A, no view of that, your context, and B, no control over it. All I can own is how I have acted towards you, not how you've received it. Yeah. And if you've received it in a way that wasn't intended, it's for you to say to me, when you said X, Mary, this is how I experienced you. And then by telling me how you experienced me, I can then say, Crystal, I'm so sorry that you experienced me this way. Actually, that was my intention, or actually, that wasn't my intention. And what I hoped that you would get from that exchange was why. And then by just that very simple exchange, we can both understand where we're both coming from and be like, oh, okay, it was a misunderstanding. And then hug it out, whine it out, whatever it is, out it.
Oh God, yes, I was about to make a really bad phrase there, but I was gonna say let the outs be outing.
Let the outs be outing. Exactly.
No. Okay, then that was a very good point made. But what I'm trying not to really get too personal about this because it's such a touchy subject.
Keep it high level.
Yeah, of course. But again, don't you feel like sometimes with certain friendships is people tend to get offended or like to personalize or make things about them? Because I can go through something, right? And I can come and tell you as a friend and you will just take it in a completely different way.
Yeah, of course.
So should that not be that my friend trying to deal with it? It's kind of like seen as it's a you problem, not a me problem. Does that make sense? And a lot of that is starting to happen. I feel like a lot of friends tend to put their insecurities or other things onto other people. Yeah. But shouldn't you be dealing with that? So I'll talk about myself. I'll just use myself now.
Let me use an example and then tell me if I'm understanding what you're trying to.
Okay, that was perfect.
So let's say you had a friend whose boyfriend, fiance, whoever, you know, very close, met the parents, set a date, cheated on them. Yeah? And now you have somebody else in your circle who this person doesn't know, whose boyfriend has cheated on them. And it's hurt you because whatever your closeness, but you feel that you can't say this around person A because, you don't mean that another man has cheated on someone. It's only me that men do this. Can we just talk about me? Is that what you're saying? It's all about this person.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would acknowledge, while acknowledging that your experience is very real and you're still feeling and dealing.
Yeah.
I wonder if you would have more understanding of what person B is now experiencing, because you've both shared this unfortunate experience to an extent that I may not be.
Yeah.
And actually, I would actually push it onto them. There's one trick that I do. So in that situation that we've just described, I would then say to person A, because person B is a recent one, person A, based on your experience, how can I be a better friend to person B? Because what you've done is you've told her in no uncertain terms, it's no longer about you. But actually, if you would just allow yourself, you can give me advice on how to show up better for this next person because you know what you appreciated.
Yeah.
You would have friends that told you to, suck it up. There's plenty of fish in the sea. And there's people that be like, I know how close you two were. I know that you plan to spend forever with this person, blah, blah. Babe, how are you feeling? All of that stuff. So if they can just for a minute pause on how they're feeling, they could actually say, you know what? The best thing was just having someone bring a box of chocolates and a box of tissues and just had me go on for a while. And then after a while, we watch movies and I forgot that SOB for 5 minutes until I started crying again, right? It could be something as simple, but that's what I would do. I would say, I wonder if you might be able to help me be a better friend to person B based on the unfortunate experience that you've had.
Okay.
But again, it's on them they can be like, what? You can't control how they receive that.
Yeah. That's such a hard, I guess, truth for me to accept. It's hard to understand that I can do something, and I wouldn't have even had bad intentions or nothing like that, but then you choose to take it that way.
And it's really on them to tell you how they've experienced it.
And even if they do
and
tell
the why,
me,
but not just the experience, but why. Okay. I would say, why did you, can I ask why you felt that I was trying to offend you or let's say they thought, I felt that you were mocking me when you said that statement. And be like, but babe, we're talking about Anastasia. Help me understand why you thought that my comments within a context of discussing Anastasia was about you.
Shouldn't it be that they have an issue. They have a
That's my
problem.
point.
Something
But by
that needs to be
asking them
dealt
the
with.
why,
Yeah.
you're forcing them to reflect inwards. It's
Yeah.
true. We were all talking about Anastasia. So why did I think that the comment about girls with big bums wearing short skirts was about me? Nobody actually mentioned me in that discussion. So why did I think everyone was talking about it? It's for them to think about that. If you were all talking about Anastasia, let's say Anastasia's the one that said, girls, it's my bum. You're like, girl, you know your bum looks like you had a BBL, but we know you love it. So yes, it looks big, but yes, you want it to look big, and be like, so you girls don't tell me that my bum looks big. And like, girl, we're talking about Anastasia. Would you like to turn around? We can talk about your bum, right? But we don't get to move from Anastasia, and you just want to hog the spotlight and be all about you. If you want it to be Anastasia, pause for a minute. Somebody needs attention. Turn around. We'll tell you how big your bum is.
Wow. Now let's go to the point that you said about friends who do challenge you. Now, what do you mean by friends who challenge you?
Oh wow.
Because some of them, the challenging is a bit too much. I feel like you're
as
too
long
hard.
as challenge is constructive. So I'll tell you what I mean by challenge. Let's say I started a new business, and year one I broke even. That's great. I'm not making profit, but I'm also okay. Then we have a party or a little get together to celebrate. Yeah, Mary stayed in this business. She didn't tank it for 1 year. Wow, that's amazing, right? A friend that challenges you, be like, babe, my background is finance, for example. If you'd like, I'd love to help you look over your books and maybe look at your unit pricing or how much you're charging for the services. Because actually, I think with some careful minor amends, we could actually, make it that you make a £5,000 profit. So you're not going from 0 to 1 million, right? And then let's say you do that, you get 7,500. That same friend would be like, babe, we're not going for 20,000. Let's just round it up. We're going for a cool 25.
Ooh.
That's a friend who not only wants to see you win, they want to have a hand in your winning. That's a challenge. But you would be like, oh. But when I speak to my network of people that are doing a similar business, people tell me if you make £2,000 a year, be thanking God. And be like, sorry,
so
why are you listening to that? No, I'm telling you, if we do X and Y, you can make more than that. Don't be listening to the naysayers. We're going to do it. That's someone who's challenging you. Where you're even thinking, oh, I'm not that good, or no, I can't. They're saying, I don't know what you know, but the person I know is going to do that, can do that, and we're going to celebrate this time next year. That's the friends that challenge you. Sometimes challenging is even, okay, you're dealing with a bad period of your time, of your life, right? The person that shows up and says, okay, I'm going to sit down with you for an hour, but after this hour, we're going to get up. You're going to get into the shower because you stink. You obviously haven't had a bath. You've been feeling sorry for yourself for 2 days. We're going to have a bath, then I'm going to take you for lunch. And then we can come back and we can talk about it. You'll be feeling fresher. The fresh air will do you a lot of good. And we can agree what you need me to do to help you move forward from this place. Again, challenge doesn't have to be really uncomfortable. Maybe for someone who's grieving or having a mental health breakdown, getting off the floor to have a shower is a big challenge. Do you see what I mean? So it doesn't always have to be, oh my God, I'm going to stretch you. You're going to go from size 26 to size 0, right? But it's whatever would represent a big milestone, a big improvement for them. If that person can show up and tell you, you're going to do it and I'm going to support you and it will be done. That's the sort of friendships that I'm talking about.
Okay. So let's use an example of you having a driving test, right? You failed the first time, you failed the second time, and a friend is now saying, well, what's wrong with you? Why are you failing? Is that being challenging? Would you call that challenge? Because to that friend, it's trying to say that to make you feel like, you know what, maybe it's true. I need to, start.
Well, again,
so what do you classify as
how
challenging?
you choose to take that is on you.
Yeah.
The way it was said isn't the best way.
Okay.
What's wrong with you? Why would you ever say that?
Yeah.
But, okay. But as a friend, let's say that person passed first time. I would then flip it and say, oh, you know what? I am finding this challenging, but I know that you've passed first time. If you could give me an hour, I'd love you to sit down and watch me. Obviously, you've got a driving license now. I put my old plates on. Watch me drive and tell me any tips. Anything that, from you knowing me, be like, oh, Crystal, I tell you what it is. You just hesitate. And because you hesitate, then the self-doubt, I literally saw the self-doubt kick in. And then because you hesitated, by the time you then came out, that guy was horned. And that's why you now start shaking. I'm like, babe, it's just your hesitation. It can be something, but because they know you, they can see, they've got that power. The gift of the feedback from them is more powerful than a driving instructor who doesn't know you, who's paid to spend an hour or 2 hours with you. If that person then doesn't receive it, then I would think, okay, so the intention was you wanted me to feel stupid. Job done. Now I feel stupid. but I know now that that's the way you want me to experience you. So I will be mindful in my interactions with you to know that you will come at me in a way to make me feel stupid.
Okay.
But it's not for me to think, why is this person trying to make me feel stupid? What have I ever done to her in my life? Have I really ever been a good friend? Like, seriously, don't even overprocess it.
Yeah.
It's on them.
Yeah. Okay, and what about those friends that do end up achieving a lot in life, but then they make you feel like you're now very below them? Does that make sense? So, and they're trying to now kind of project their achievements and you to be like, okay, I know it might seem to them that they want you to do well too, but I really believe in people having different paths, right? But just because they've made it, they're trying to also, for example, oh, I got this Range Rover now, Crystal, you need to get into this business because that's what got me this, and they're forcing you to do it. And now all of a sudden it makes it feel like the stage that you're in is not even great. Does that make sense? So as much as they're trying to help you, but it's still, they're trying to basically indirectly say, maybe this might be me reading into it too much.
I
but
think
it can
we
also
have spoken about this.
Yeah.
Where we've spoken about the fact that people have different paths. And I think I gave the example of, you know, if someone's doing, let's say they're a broker or project manager, even though I see that you're doing well, I want to celebrate you. And any tips you have, I'm going to take the tip and I'm going to adopt it for my lane. I stay in my lane. I'm not going to change from a career that I've invested in. So what I would then say is, why does that friend feel that your success needs to look exactly like hers? Because actually it's for you to say, oh, I see that you're doing well in X field. I really would like to get into X field. Any tips?
Yeah.
If you've not come at them with that and they want to show that they want you to also be successful, it would be, babe, I know that you might not be so interested in social media or in photography, but actually I tell you what I found really useful is having a good social media presence and doing consistently. And I don't know if that's going to help you, but just try and apply it to whatever you're doing. Do you see what I mean? There's a slightly different angling there. But if I'm suggesting that, oh, you're lazy, I can't do it, you can do it. So the fact that you're poor, that means you're lazy. That's not
I feel
cool.
like it happens a lot, especially when it comes to Africans and marriages, when now we're of that age, everyone's getting married, right? So now all your friends are basically married and you're the only single one, and they're like making you feel like, what is wrong with you?
So suggestion is that marriage is an achievement.
Basically, yes.
Well, you got to achieve, boo. I'm joking. Again, that's their insecurity. If you are not happy with you as an individual, you're not going to be happy with you as a couple. So just be like, babe, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy that you found your soulmate. I'm so happy that you and X person are in this honeymoon period. But actually, I'm still enjoying my single life. And while I'm in this waiting room, I'm going to keep on developing myself. And when Mr. Right comes, I'm going to know he's Mr. Right because I've worked on myself. So he's going to have to show up strong and he's going to know, okay, this is what it's going to take to get and keep this woman. That's it. You throw it back to them.
Yeah.
Because the fact that you got married, so now single people
But
who
then,
you used to be one of no longer exist.
In their mind, they feel like they're being encouraging or they're trying to like get you. So then that's when it becomes a bit, you know what I mean, blurred. Like, because I'm like, should I get offended?
Don't get me wrong. I do
good.
hear that sometimes a woman gets married and she then stops being friends with her single friends. I'm like, serious? Is it really that thing? I don't know, because as you know, I've got a very nice mix of married and unmarried friends. I think regardless of what people are doing, what stage in their life, people bring different experiences into your life and they will enrich you in different ways.
Exactly.
So why would you, okay, so for example, let's say I got married and had a child, right? And I want to throw a trending party because I'm that sort of person. Who's likely to know the venues and the vendors for my trending party? Is it not likely to be my single friend?
Yeah.
Who's also likely to have time to help me? It's not going to be my friends who have children or have a husband or significant other to, support and be with, right? It's a missed opportunity. That's just foolishness to me. But yeah, I know I'm not disregarding what you said. A lot of people think, oh, yeah, I've moved on, so those people are beneath me. You stay down. It's just like, seriously, if that's the thing that makes you feel that you've moved on, I think it signals that there was a big insecurity thing with you before. Okay,
so from what you've said then, finding your tribe might mean that you might not have everyone in your tribe on the same level as you.
At different stages. We should celebrate each stage. Recognize that we've been around the table. We've all been at 85, if not 90% of those stages at one point in our life. Unless you're born stupidly rich, with every opportunity already lined up. Where are you going to go to school? Oh, don't worry. My dad is best friends with the headmaster of the best private school. Unless everything is literally, the path is already mapped and all you need to do is show up. Even if you don't brush your teeth, somebody will help you brush your teeth and wash your face.
Yeah.
unless it's worked like that.
Coming to America vibes.
Exactly. Coming to America vibes. Unless it's worked like that, chances are everyone around that table has suffered setbacks, has had to, pick themselves up and, show the resilience at some point. So for you to now get to a point where you've defined it success, not knowing who on this table is going to completely eclipse your version of success. When you know people who they are now, you don't know who they're going to be tomorrow.
Exactly.
So the person that you think is beneath you today could be the person offering you a job tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's a humility pill to swallow.
Yeah, I mean, that's another episode, but that's such a great point.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're talking to at all.
No. So the fact that you experience someone in a certain situation today, if you use that to cloud your judgment, just like I said about, your parents were poor and somebody now meets you and you're doing okay and they can't be comfortable around you, that's on them. Because they have, in their mind, limited. Because you were born poor, you're going to always be poor. So many people miss opportunities because the people that are reaching out a hand to them, they're thinking, no, it can't be my friend. Somebody in a range, no, I don't know. I don't know any useful people in range. But it's pouring outside and someone has stopped and said, get in, no, they want to kidnap you. They don't want to kidnap you. He's your friend from school. He saw you in a pouring rain, but you weren't expecting to see him in a range or in a Maserati or whatever it was. And you're like, no. These are the human traffickers. They want to kill me.
I heard a lot about 419.
Yeah. But so we miss so many opportunities because we think, the person that's trying to hand me. You know what it is? The biggest one isn't the people that have the wealth and whatever. It's networks.
Yeah.
The poor person might be the one that will link you to your next CEO, your next manager.
That goes to our question that I asked you at the beginning, actually. What would
you
you rather? Poor person?
That's my point. So the fact that they don't have money.
Yeah.
Or they don't live in a nice area.
Ordinarily.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm excited because, of course, we're going to continue this.
This is a series about relationships and friendships.
Finding your tribe. So, I guess for next episode, we might just go a bit more deeper into... Yeah, just prepare yourself because it might be very personal, Mary. So, be ready to open and be transparent because it actually needs to be very personal. But yeah, thanks a lot for today.
Thank you, Crystal.
I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.